We want to dive right in with some really interesting research, and was presented to the British House of Commons, and it showed that companies that have more female leaders and gender diversity are more likely to be profitable than companies dominated by men. So, Marcy, what qualities do you think that women bring to leadership teams, like to make them even stronger?
Less ego.
Ah,
We bring less ego and we listen. We're good listeners and we get the job done. And that means incorporating or bringing in whoever will get it done along with us. So there's not a lot of ego. You know what I think about? When you're, and this has happened to me, you're in a room and a man, you'll overhear men talking and they'll say, so, you know, what do you do? And it's always about what do you do? Whereas women, it's more about who are you? You know, who are you? What's important to you? We just look at things differently. So it is no surprise to me that women are rocking these positions.
I know this is not supposed to be an interview, but your position is uniquely qualified to answer this because you are the Minister of Gender and Women's Equality. And so what's the disparity? If women's businesses are making more money than businesses run by men, then why aren't there more businesses run by women?
Hello. Yeah, and absolutely. And this needs to happen. And we're, you know, definitely pushing that. And that's what I'm there for, right? To support women and support LGBTQ2S folks and to support young people so they get those businesses, so that they thrive in those businesses, so they start those businesses, so they have the courage to start them.
It's so true. Lane's, Jess?
Do you guys think that part of this secret sauce for what makes women excellent leaders might be that because they haven't historically been on leadership teams at those high levels, we're just seeing the results of what happens when you diversify a team?
Yeah.
You know, when things are always done the same way, it gets boring. You get complacent because you're rarely challenged. Your ideas get stale. Your motivation wanes. You throw in a spark, AKA something new, it ups your game. It ups everyone's game. And women happen to be that spark.
Yeah.
but we're still not totally seeing like what you were saying as well. We're not actually seeing, so we've known this for a while. There was a book that was written, I think in the 90s. It was called The Female Advantage, and basically it showed how women who lead, lead differently, and that when they work together, it provides better results. So some of the reasons they gave were the women place a high value on relationships, that they're more direct at communicating, which, I mean, I don't know, that's an interesting thing, but they did the research. Rather than respecting the sort of chain of command, they want to communicate, they use communication, and they're more direct about it. And another one was that they're skilled at integrating their personal and work lives better. They don't compartmentalize. There's much more of an integration there. And yet, really, still now in Canada, it's only 4% of companies on the stock index, the benchmark stock index, have a female chief executive officer. So, like, men, are you listening? Like,
they're listening. They're just not relinquishing power.
Yeah, it's just so weird. But because anyway, Lainey, I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
No, I think it's not just in business. I think it's in other fields too. I mean, when we talk about profitability, you can define profit by different outcomes of success. Like in medical professions, you know, we've talked, all of us, I think, and on the show about what happens when you diversify leadership in medicine and in medical fields and in STEM. Think about what we've said about what happens when patients who are women are treated by female doctors, right? Their issues perhaps are understood in a different way. And if you can pass on that research to the entire field, to your medical peers, then you begin to encourage more best practices across the board. So that idea of profitability is not just in business, but it should be applied in medicine, in government. I mean, if we're talking, it's kind of parallel in government. If you have not just like female leadership, but more female voices at the table to set policy and to agendas and lawmakers can listen to more voices, then constituents who they represent, many of whom are women and children and young girls, they'll be better represented too.
I want to throw this on Marcy's lap because I feel like, Marcy, we might have had this conversation. I don't know what the line is of how much we share about we were talking personally. But one of the big reasons, and I agree with everything you said, Lainey, but there is something that does stop large amounts of women and highly talented and qualified women from ascending. We kind of get stuck in the middle and then maybe upper management, and then we get stuck. And then there's a bottleneck, and then it's only guys at the top. because we're ignoring the elephant in the room, caregiving.
Absolutely.
The pandemic has taught us that
Absolutely.
women, we are still doing the lion's share of caregiving. And so if you want to raise a family and also be, you know, a bad bee and rise to the top, how do we get there?
Something's going to give. Well, hey, I'm here to tout what I'm working on as well, and that is childcare. And that fixes that, right? If there's affordable childcare across this country, that helps with that, because then women can reach those dreams, reach those goals that they have in career, and kind of do that. If not, you're right. Look at what the pandemic has shown us. We were at home. I was doing my job, and Dash and Blaze were in their bedrooms, and Dash would run in. I'd be on a Zoom call and say, Mama, can you help me with French? You know, and I'd introduce whatever minister, whoever I was talking to my son. I mean, that's how it was. And we kind of do it all. But to have affordable childcare helps, and it helps greatly.
Yeah, amen.